everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Christina and today I'm doing another Foundation Frenzy review. So today's Foundation Frenzy is going to be the CYO Lifeproof, as you probably can tell from the title. So basically, if you have never seen any of my Foundation Frenzy series before, I take a foundation and I do a full week wearing it. My weeks sometimes consist from 5 days to 7 days. It really depends. I don't usually wear makeup every day and I like to try and do this consecutively just to see like how it wears on my skin on multiple days in a row, if it breaks me out, all of that. So for this week I am doing the CYO Lifeproof. I forgot to film this intro, so I am not currently wearing it on my skin, so this is not a sneak peek. Also, I want to point out these beautiful flowers behind me literally just came in and they're from my husband, and if you guys watch my channel then you know my husband is currently deployed. He's in the military and he sent me flowers before Valentine's Day because he's not gonna be home. I might have almost cried and hugged the floral lady, but I refrained. But anyways, before we jump into my review, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you are interested in seeing more videos like this. I do upload every single day, Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. PST. Also, if you like my Foundation Frenzy videos, my friend Eliza has a YouTube channel as well, and she's also going to be doing foundation reviews like this. She's going to be wearing foundations for a week, and I just wanted to shout her out because I know a lot of people do first impressions, so it's cool to see other people doing like full week wear tests with foundations. So I'm going to link her channel down below because she's awesome and all of you guys should go check her out. So as for the specs for the CYO Lifeproof, as far as I know and as far as I can tell, it is only available at CVS. It was only $7 on CVS's website. You get a full fluid ounce in this foundation and it does come with one of the air pumps, so it pushes the product up for you. It is a plastic tube packaging and it comes with a pump. It doesn't feel expensive in any way, but I mean it's a $7 foundation. So it does have 15 shades that come in the entire range. I got the lightest shade, 101. As far as what they say this foundation is going to do, they say it's going to last for 24 hours, which I didn't even realize that was a claim. It's going to have an even application and a flawless finish, and it's going to be smudge free. As far as the finish, they say it's going to be a natural finish, and they claim that it's a full coverage foundation. It's supposed to be smudge and transfer free. It has vitamin E in it, which is supposed to nourish and moisturize the skin, and it's just overall supposed to look and feel flawless. So that is all of the specs on the foundation. As far as all of my thoughts on everything that they claim, I talk about it throughout every single day that I wear it, so if you're interested in seeing if it lives up to those claims, definitely give this video a watch all the way through because I kind of hit on every single one of those throughout. Excuse me, I forgot to do the swatches, so I'm gonna put the swatches in right now. So here are the swatches of all the foundations that I'm comparing to the CYO Lifeproof. So this is the CYO Lifeproof. This is in the lightest shade. It doesn't have the shade name on the bottle, so I can't quite remember, so I'll try to put it up on the screen for you. But this is the shade that I got in the CYO Lifeproof, and I think you can tell just by looking at all of these varying shades that it definitely has a different undertone from most foundations. It's definitely a very cool undertone and more gray. Next to that is the L'Oreal Pro Glow in the color 201. Next to that is the L'Oreal Total Cover in 302 Buff. Next to that is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation Concealer. This is in the color 0.5 Breeze. And then last we have the Maybelline Superstay Foundation in the color 110 Porcelain. And now let's hop on over into my full week of wearing the CYO Lifeproof, and we're gonna start with day number 1. So I'm still sick, but today is gonna be day number 1 with the CYO Long Lasting Foundation, the Lifeproof Foundation. Now this won't be a first impression because I've technically already tried this. I did try to use this in my last Foundation Frenzy series that I tried to do over the summer, and as you guys know, I didn't like that footage, so I didn't end up using it, but I haven't used it since I filmed that, so it's been a couple months and I don't really remember how this wears or anything. I do know I like it, but I don't really remember what it looks like on the skin. So today's gonna be the first day wearing this. I'm actually not gonna use a primer at all, but I will be applying it with a brush and with a sponge on each side of my face to see which application I like better. I just have my moisturizer on, and that's how we're gonna wear it today, and then we'll see how it does, and then tomorrow we're gonna test it with a primer, and then the following day a different primer and all of that. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in, and we're gonna start putting this on my face. So on this side, I'm gonna be applying it with a brush. I'll be using the It Cosmetics brush, which I love, and then I'm gonna use the Real Techniques sponge on this side. I'm just gonna go ahead. It's a push-up like pump, so I don't think I need to shake it. I don't know why I tried. So this foundation has more of like a cool gray undertone. I think you can see it like on my skin. It's a very cool undertone. So it's very like unique. I feel like a lot of Korean BB creams have a gray undertone just to make it really cool. So I'm excited for this. Right away I can say that it's going on super smooth, like it's just gliding onto my skin. I think I applied too much because it's looking a little heavy right here, but I think that was my fault. I think I just applied too much. I think a little probably goes a long way, especially when you use a brush. So I'm interested to see what it looks like on the sponge side. But it's even like looking pretty good on my nose, which I'm sick right now, so I've been blowing my nose a lot and there's a lot of dryness. And I don't feel like it's accentuating any of the dryness on my nose, and it seems to have covered all of the redness on my cheeks, and it looks good. So I'm gonna take the rest and we're gonna do the other side with the sponge. It doesn't seem to have a scent or anything like that, and it just like, it almost feels like cooling on my skin. Oh yeah, as always the sponge side is going to be a lot more sheer. I also feel like it almost looks more luminous on this side. I mean, that kind of makes sense because the sponge is damp, so there's more moisture going onto the skin. Honestly, I feel like both sides look good. Like, I really like the way this side looks. It just looks nice and skin-like. It did a pretty good job covering this massive blemish that I have that like is so stubborn and won't go away. But I think overall it covered everything really well. You can still see a couple of these like post-breakout marks on this side, so I'll definitely have to conceal. I would say it's like a good medium coverage. I don't think it's full, but for me that's the kind of coverage I like. I like medium. I still want my skin to look like skin, and I think this has done that. I still feel like it's a little heavy on the brush side, so I feel like I would probably apply this with a sponge just because I prefer that kind of like skin-like finish, but I feel like you could use either. I don't think it really matters. I think this foundation actually works for both. There's no streak marks. It just looks nice. I'm gonna come in a little closer so you guys can see a little better. Don't be harsh about my nose though, because I am sick. But I think you can see it looks just like really skin-like. It's not emphasizing any of my dryness. My forehead is usually a telltale sign if something's gonna emphasize dryness, and I don't really see any dryness at all. It just looks nice and smooth. And I know it's not very blended around my nose, but my nose just hurts so bad. But I think overall it just looks like my skin just perfected. And I actually like the undertone of this. I know it's kind of weird to be gray. I probably could do with a little bit more pink in it just for my skin tone, but I think overall it works really well since I am a cool undertone. I feel like if you have yellow to olive undertones, I don't think it's gonna look the best just because the undertone's gonna throw it really off. It is currently 10:28 in the morning, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, and then I will come back and check in with you guys. Don't expect a lot of makeup though because I'm feeling lazy. Alright, so my makeup's done. It is 11:21. I finished it a while ago and I just didn't come back and check in. It didn't take me an hour to do this. But I think it's looking good. The only thing that looked weird at first was my concealer seemed to go on a little weird, but I think it looks fine now, so I think it was just a weird fluke. But I think everything went on top nice. I think overall my skin looks nice. Now my nose is starting to run again and I'm starting to feel a little more sick again, so I'm gonna go take some more medicine, but I don't expect there to be foundation on my nose by the end of the day, but I'm hoping everything else looks good. But otherwise, I'm just gonna wear this throughout the day. It's 11, I'm gonna try and wear it until about 10 o'clock tonight, so I think that should be a better wear time. But we will see. I think right now it's looking good and I have high hopes for it. So I will see you guys in the first check-in probably around 2 o'clock. Alright, so check-in number 1 with the CYO Lifeproof foundation. It is 3:42 in the afternoon, so it's been a few hours, and this is day number 1 without a primer, and I think you can see there's a slight sheen on my skin, so that's probably my moisturizer coming through. But honestly, you guys know I have dry skin, so this doesn't bother me, and there's literally no transfer. Like, it's set down, it's just getting a little shiny. At this point I would probably just put a little powder on, and as you can see, the sickness has worn off everything on my nose. But interesting enough, I would zoom you guys in, but I don't want to zoom you guys in on my nose. But you know, like sometimes when you get sick and like you try to blow your nose with some foundations, it like creates like a weird line and it separates funny. This actually rubbed off nicely, which is a weird flex, but it like rubbed off nice, and I feel like overall it didn't really disturb anything around my nose, just right on my nose where I was like blowing it. It is a little shiny, but I think overall still really nice, and this is with no primer, so I'm really impressed. I think it's still sitting on all of my Dry patches, fine. It's still covering up this blemish. I think everything looks good, so I'm gonna keep wearing it. I'm gonna try and wear this until about 10 o'clock still tonight so we can get that full like 11-hour wear test or 12-hour wear test. So it's gonna be the last check-in of the day, and it is 9:46 p.m. So this foundation's been on for almost 11 hours, or it is 11 hours now, and I just don't feel good, so I'm ready to go to bed. And I think you can tell it's faded. It's definitely faded throughout the day, but it is luckily faded gracefully, I feel like, if that's like even a thing. I feel like you can still see my blood. It's probably just my bronzer. My bronzer a little bit. It's definitely faded off of this blemish. These post-acne marks are more noticeable now. I think it still looks good on my forehead. It's just faded for the most part. It's completely gone off my nose, which is to be expected. A little bit more redness peeking through there. But after 11 hours of wear, and this is with me like being sick, touching my face, like wiping my nose a lot. I think overall this has worn pretty well for me being sick. I have been laying down a lot, so my face has been touching like my pillow. Overall, pretty good. I'm excited to wear this again tomorrow. I am feeling a little bit better now, so I'm hoping tomorrow will be a better day. And I'm gonna try and wear it tomorrow as long as possible as well. So I'm hoping everything goes well, and I will see you guys for day number 2. All right, good morning everyone. So today's day number 2 with the CYO Lifeproof foundation. I am feeling so much better today. I am still a little sick, but definitely on the mend finally. So thank goodness. Maybe my nose won't be as red. I'm still having to blow my nose every now and again, so I imagine it's probably still gonna wear off on my nose today. At least it's better. Also, that time of the month is around the corner, and I always break out on my jawline because of hormonal stuff. I have a few little tiny blemishes that need to be covered today, but nothing too spectacular. So today's day number 2. Today I am going to use it with a primer, and I actually looked up the ingredients of the foundation, so I do know that this is a silicone-based foundation, so I'm going to use. Honestly, I'm not even sure. The foundation bottle says water first, and then the website says a silicone. I don't know if it's silicone or water-based. Use a silicone primer, which I'm going to use the Revlon Photo Ready Pore Reducing Primer. So we'll see how it interacts with this guy. If this doesn't work, I think I have a couple other silicone-based primers. I don't have that many silicone-based primers though. It may just have to be a primerless foundation for me, but I'm going to go ahead and put on my primer. I'm really only concentrating this primer on my large pores because that's what it's for, obviously. I didn't really notice yesterday though that the foundation really emphasized my pores any, so I don't know if there's going to be a noticeable difference. I guess the main difference will be if this makes it last longer, but I feel like the foundation did so well without a primer. I don't know if this is really going to do anything, but I always like to try and test it with as many variables as possible just to see. So now that I'm primed, I'm going to go ahead and take the foundation. I'm going to apply it with the sponge just because I liked the finish of it a little bit better. I just thought it looked a little bit more natural. If you hear sounds in the background, my dog Wallace has a treat ball. It's one of those balls that you can like put treats into, and he has to spin it to get the treats out. So if you hear noise, that's what that is. I try to give him like nourishing games to play so he doesn't just get treats for nothing. So I'm sorry about that. He makes a lot of noise. Anytime I film, he like wants to be in the room with me, which I don't mind. It's cute, but sometimes you guys have like really weird background noise because he's like doing something. All right, so here it is all over my face. I feel like it looks a little bit more matte today because of the primer. I don't know if that's just me being crazy or my skin's more dry, but it definitely seems like it's more matte like in this area of my face right now, which isn't bad. Now it isn't covering my blemishes all the way, so I'm going to stick with, I'm pretty sure this is like a good medium, light to medium coverage. I did read on the website this morning that it can be built up. I personally don't like layering my foundations too much just because it's heavy, but for the sake of science, I will take just like a half a pump, like not much at all, like a little tiny dot, and I'm going to try to see if it will cover up this blemish down here. I mean, it is building up on top of itself. I just don't think it's giving that much more coverage. I mean, this is like a brand new breakout, so it is like really pigmented, but I think it does layer fine. I just don't think it's going to cover
the really intense like red spots on my face, but otherwise I think everything looks good. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup. It is currently 10:42, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, and I will check in with you guys probably later on in the evening for today. I don't plan on wearing this for 11 hours today just because I need to start going to bed at a reasonable hour, and it is obviously later. I worked out this morning for the first time since I've been sick, so that's why it's a little later. I wanted to make sure I could get that workout in. So I will just see you guys probably around 2 o'clock today, see how it's doing. So it's 3:20, so the foundation's been on for, when did I put it on? 10:30? 10:50? So it's only been on for a few hours. I'm standing right in front of a window, so I'm hoping you guys can see. I think my skin looks really good. It's not as shiny today as it was yesterday, so I think the primer did help a little bit where I produced a little bit of oil, and I think overall it's looking really nice. Let me zoom you guys in. Oh, apparently my eye was watering. Oh, oopsie. So ignore the dryness on my nose. That has nothing to do with the foundation, but I think, look how like, I feel like my skin looks like smooth. Is it just me? But like you can still see everything. You see my blush, my bronzer, all of that. My forehead doesn't look dry, I don't think. Maybe a little dryness on my forehead, but nothing like some other foundations. It's not completely covering these blemishes, but they don't bother me, so that's okay. So it looks good after a few hours. I'm gonna keep wearing it through the night, and then I will see you for day 3. Day number 3. So I didn't do a check-in last night, obviously, but I did wake up a little earlier today. Actually, I woke up really early. I woke up at like 4:50 a.m. and I just didn't feel like putting on makeup yet. I was trying to like, I feel like when I go to sleep, I think because this is like a sinus thing, everything is just worse in the morning from like sleeping. So I'm feeling a little bit better now, so we're gonna start at 8:40 this morning. Overall, the primer was fine. I don't think it really made a difference whether you wear a primer or you don't wear a primer. The only major difference I saw was it wasn't as shiny. I am going to use the primer again today just because this is one of my Project Pan primers. It didn't really prolong the wear, but it did, you know, control the shine, which means I don't have to touch it up as much. So I did appreciate that. I'm gonna go ahead and prime, and then we're gonna apply the foundation for day 3. I feel like about 2 pumps is really all I need for my whole face for like good coverage. I think yesterday I did the same. This blemish next to my mouth is finally healing too. Just a mess. It was the full moon and the week that my period is supposed to start, and it's just, and I'm sick. It's been a weird week. I feel like this is a really nice foundation. I do think the undertone could definitely scare off a lot of people because it is a very cool tone undertone. And I feel like when it first goes on, you can like really tell that it looks gray. It does kind of like warm into your skin, I feel like, but like even when I'm first applying it, I'm like, wow, it's really gray. But look at that like luminous glow. Beautiful. Okay, is today day 4 or day 5? I think today's day 4 with this CYO Lifeproof. I'm going to be using it with a different primer today. I think today we're going to use the Ordinary Foundation. The Ordinary primer. This is the high adherence silicone primer. I went through all of my primers trying to find silicone ones, and I don't have that many. I have this guy, and I think the No Problem is a silicone, but a lot of my other ones are water-based. I looked up all the ingredients because honestly I wasn't sure, and these were the only ones. So I'm gonna use the Ordinary one today, see how it does with this one. It should be fine since it's a silicone primer, but we'll see. And I'm gonna go ahead and put it on my face now, and then I will check in with you guys later on at like 2 o'clock. Again, I've really been enjoying it. I don't think it's breaking me out or anything. I am getting breakouts on my jawline, but it's because it's almost that time of the month for me, like I've been saying. So those, I always get those right before. So I know that's not from the foundation. Typically, if a foundation is gonna break me out, it does it on my forehead and like on my cheeks. I'm not getting any breakouts anywhere else except on my jawline. So I'm inclined to think that those are just hormonal breakouts because that's typically where hormonal breakouts would be. I think I'm gonna do it with a brush today because I didn't mind how it looked with a brush. It was just a lot more like full coverage, but maybe if I use less product. I am gonna put it on my nose today because my nose isn't quite as runny today. So I'm gonna put it over my nose just so I can see what it looks like on the dryness, because I know for a fact I have dryness on my nose from being sick. So I just want to see how it sits on top of dryness. Now my nose is going to be like an extreme form of dryness. So for the past couple days I've been saying this is more medium coverage, and even With the brush though, I can definitely tell it gave me more coverage on this little breakout down here. That's been a lot more noticeable, I think, with the sponge. I just leaned into my mirror just to see what it looked like on my nose, and I'm kind of surprised right now. Like, it doesn't look bad. Like, look, like, it's not really emphasizing the dryness on my nose, like, at all. Like, I mean, a little bit, like, you can definitely tell I have dryness, but I was really expecting it to look awful, so I feel like this is a good test. I think this will sit on top of dryness really well, so if you have dry skin, I wouldn't worry about it. It looks really smooth on my forehead. It looks super smooth on my cheeks again. Has that nice sheen to it. I just think it looks really good. I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup now, and I will check in with you guys around, like, I was gonna say around 2 o'clock, but please don't judge me. I woke up early this morning, but I had 2 videos to get edited. I'm supposed to be house sitting this week, so I was wanting to get a lot of my extra work done here before I head over to that house. So it is 1:40 in the afternoon, so I'll be doing a check-in probably around 4 right before I leave to go over to that house to house sit. Alright guys, so it is day number 5 with the CYO Lifeproof. I've already put on my primer for today, and I used the Revlon Photo Ready. And I'm going to mix this foundation today, so I'm going to mix the CYO with the L'Oreal Pro Glow just to see what it does, just to see if it mixes well, if it has any benefits. The L'Oreal Pro Glow is one of my favorite mixing foundations, which is why I'm using that one. Coverage-wise, it looks the same. Seems to be applying the same, still looks good. Alright, well, I think it looks good. So it is 9:09 in the morning. I'm going to wear this throughout the day again. I'm going to just do the rest of my makeup, and I'll check in with you guys later. Today will probably be the last day I'm wearing this. This is like the final thing that I wanted to test, was mixing it. So we'll see how it looks after a few hours, and then that'll probably be all of the videos. So today is day 6 and the last day with the CYO Lifeproof. I tried to get a clip last night on my phone, so the quality wasn't good, but I don't think the CYO and the L'Oreal mixed well together. It actually ended up emphasizing texture on my forehead, which I couldn't really see on my phone clip. So I am going to be using the CYO Lifeproof again today. I haven't gone through all of my foundations, but I'm guessing that the L'Oreal one isn't a silicone-based foundation, so that's probably why it didn't mix well. So I'm just going to stick with the foundation again today. I'm going to go back to using the Ordinary primer because I feel like it looked really, really good with this primer. That's gonna wrap it up for today. I think overall, I really, really like this foundation. I think it looks really good on the skin. If you can find a shade that matches you and that has and if you have like a more neutrally to cool undertone, I think this foundation will work really well. I think if you have dry skin, this is going to look beautiful, and I have thoroughly enjoyed using this foundation this week. I can definitely see why like that Taylo raves about it. I definitely want to buy another bottle once I get through this one. And I just think overall it's a really, really good foundation. Alright guys, so that was my entire review of the CYO Lifeproof. I think if I have to give it a 10-star rating, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, I would give this probably about an 8. And I would give it higher if I liked the shade range a little bit better. I think because there's a limited amount of undertones, I have to deduct points for that. It also doesn't wear for a full 12 hours, so I deduct points for that as well. So it's about an 8 on a 10 scale. I do really enjoy it, and I've worn it since doing this review. But yeah, hopefully you guys liked this review. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Down in the comments, leave me a foundation that you would like to see me do a foundation frenzy video on. And hopefully you guys hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys on Monday. Bye!